love trees and I love birds, but the birds that are residing in them there trees at the moment are making my gardening life a little bit of a misery, and I'll show you why very shortly. Hello, it's Jane here. It's the end of May. It's about 6:30 in the evening, and I don't know if you can hear the birds. They are beautiful, but they've caused quite a bit of misery in the last week or two, which, as I said before, I'll come on to. But yeah, it's been mad busy in the garden, especially this last couple of weeks, as it always is at this time of year. We've got quite a few new things to show you, so yeah, I'm quite excited to share them with you. But for now, let's make a start where we always do, in the greenhouse. Okay, greenhouse number 1 is pretty much set up now for what is going to be happening. I don't know if you can actually see on there, but I'm only going to be very quick because there's so much to show you. But we've got all our seedlings here. We've got turnips, we've got red sprouts, we've got zucchini. I've got flowers here that are yet to go in leeks. I've got my chilli, which I must admit, this one was bought. This is a cayenne chili pepper, and that is now in pride of place there, so it should do really well. I've got another chili here that hasn't got the best place, but will be okay. That's a jalapeno. And then towards the end here, I've got boxes, trays of plants to go to other people. So as and when I next see the people involved, those trays will then disappear from the greenhouse, and then we're actually going to be left with quite a bit of space in here. So I'm thinking about, I don't know, should I try and grow some dwarf beans in here? Is that a bit mad? But I am going to have the space, that's the point. Maybe some salads. You know, I mean, oh crikey, I'll show you the lettuce in a minute. We've got that many lettuce, but maybe a few radish and spring onion. I don't know, quick growing crops in here. Anyway, we'll have a think about it. But yeah, for now, greenhouse number 1, it's pretty much, we've had all the work done, and I'll show you greenhouse number 2. Okay, greenhouse number 2. I think the thing that hits you straight away is just quite how lush this grapevine is. Now, I did chop it back very hard, which I always do, to be honest. So I don't know if it's in recovery mode, but it's certainly looking very healthy. But that travels the length of the 2 greenhouses. But on the ground here, this is now all planted up. We have got, in the little pop bottles, trying to fool the slugs, we've got 4 little cucumbers there, and then we've got some squash that have just been in here as like using it as a nursery bed. Once the garlic gets moved, which I'll show you in a minute, the squash will go in the garlic bed. I think we might change our minds on that one, we tend to. I'm just, oh dear, I've just got a bit of grapevine in my eye. Aubergine, pepper, more peppers, and then I've got, ooh, at the end here, a couple of more little cucumbers, and they are going to grow up and around this frame. Okay, which goes over there, and I'm going to swing you around. I'm telling you, this is a whistle-stop tour. That is a bought pepper. What does that say? It's yellow. It's just a yellow pepper. And then there's a bought, what's that one? Mavras, I can't see it from here, pepper, but yeah, looks very nice. And look how healthy the aubergine gets. I've done it before where they've got to this sort of stage and then something will hit them, like whitefly, or if they do produce fruit, it's maybe 1 or 2, and if you don't get it just right, I don't know, it goes a bit manky, to be honest. So I'm determined, this is famous last words here, that we're going to try and keep these really healthy, because yeah, it'd be nice to get some aubergines. Oi! And then up on the last bit, I've told you this is going to be ever so quick, these are some sun gold tomatoes that I had left over, a self-seeded coriander, and look at these. Again, these were put in a few months ago now, just to use this as a nursery bed for them, really, to get them started. These were a flower that I cannot pronounce the name of. that were given to us by a plot neighbour, and she said just pop them somewhere and they'll thicken and delight all at the same time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're actually like, and I'm yet to find a place in the garden for them, but I will. Okay, let's take a look outside. There's the outside table there, and you can see we've got all that stuff hardening off, including quite a lot of dahlias, which, oh, while I'm here, look, dahlias here. The dahlia bed is pretty much ready for them to go in. Just needs a tickle and they'll be going in the next week or two. But let me show you the fruit cage. We have at last, it's only taken a year, attached the mesh to both the gate and, oh, even better, this will fool those birds, and the roof. Yeah. So it should hopefully be bird proof in here. You listening, birds? Hopefully, because we have got now, I'm aware I'm swinging you around ever so quickly, gooseberries down here, which are producing some beautiful fruit already. Can you see those? Yeah, getting plenty on there. More in there, look. Ow, oh, that's a thorny one. Okay. Apparently the thorns protect the gooseberries from the birds, but I don't know about that. I think these birds have got superpowers. Right, okay, my red currant. I was a little bit worried about this a couple of weeks ago because the leaves were doing this. Look, I'll show you. You see? They were curling up. Now, I can't see anything on there, but I haven't got the best eyesight. So yeah, so gave it a good water, a bit of a feed, and actually it's come back quite well. But not, maybe a few berries on there, but its partner here, the black currant, is looking incredibly healthy. And if I zoom in, look at that. That's going to be a feast, isn't it? So looking forward to those. Oh my goodness, it's more than I looked last time, and that was only this afternoon. Yeah, looking forward to those. And up again. And then along this side we've got the autumn fruiting raspberries, which I think are polka, and a few strawberries which have self-seeded themselves. And in the middle, I'm doing a bit of a pole dance here around the middle of the the cage. I've got my blueberries, late, mid and early, that I potted up into these pots, and you know what, I think I might actually get a blueberry this year, which would be more than I ever have done before. So dead pleased that I could just pick those up and bring them in, and hopefully they'll be protected as well. So yeah, let's see the rest of the garden. The bed the blueberries were in is now full of potatoes, which are doing really, really well there. I think they do like slightly acidic soil, so looking forward to them. And then at the end here you can see the tayberry, which this year is going to be big enough. It's thickening up at the base, but of course I want that to go around the arch. I'm trying to do a bit of an all-in-one thing here. Is it working? We'll soon find out. And at the top of the arch it should meet the blackberry, thornless, thank goodness, that's been tied in the other side. So yeah, they should be nice. Look at the thyme at the bottom though. Oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it, the bees love it. What more can you ask? Other side of the blackberry, we've got a few giant onions that aren't looking great, but will hopefully pick up, and then a whole bunch of, I think these are Shakespeare onions, that I just bunged in a good few months ago now. But if you look closely, you can see, if you saw my my video about getting plants for free, you can see all of these volunteer cosmos here, because this had cosmos in last year. So I'm going to leave those. I've weeded as best as I can round them without disturbing the onions too much. But yeah, once the onions come up, I'm just going to leave the cosmos to flower, because they do make such a lovely display. And at the end of this bed here, I've got, again, strawberries, which will get removed at the end of this season because they're not supposed to be there. But I think they'll give us quite a nice little crop. Next bed is the incredibly weedy garlic bed. But I'm not going to bother about that too much now because the leaves are starting to go yellow. I'm getting garlic scapes, which I will pick and use it in cooking, which are fine, which are these bits that you get on the hard neck garlic. Can you see through the mesh? Just curls round like that and you get a scape at the end, which would become a flower. But it means that as that flower develops, this stalk becomes quite hard and it can split the centre of your garlic bulb. So yeah, I'll be taking those scapes off if I remember. But the rest of it, I'm really excited about the garlic harvest this year. I can't see any sign, touch wood, of allium leaf miner yet, which would result in like twisty leaves. These all look okay, so yeah, it'll be nice after last year to get some decent garlic. Oh look, another load of onions I've bunged in. What makes you think I was desperate to get onions this year? This variety is called Electric, and yes, it's full of weeds, and yes, that is something I will do, or at least think about doing in the next week or two. But this side has got right next to it the broad beans, and if we have a little firkling here, we did replace some of the ones that disappeared with seeds, and the seeds are filled in quite nicely. But yay, we've got beans. Look at those, gorgeous. This bed had the kale in, and it's now been replaced with autumn and spring broccoli. I can't think of the exact words for them at the moment. It's not spring flowering, is it? Is it spring flowering? Anyway, all looking good. But yes, you'll notice it's got mesh over it. I wonder why. I'll show you the rest. The asparagus harvest has actually been pretty poor this year, and I'm wondering if it's partly because we had such a good harvest last year. Maybe we picked too much of it. Maybe I left the ferns on for too long. Maybe I should have taken them off sooner. I don't know. I mean, we're still getting the odd few, but really now this is the last of it, and then it'll be gone for another year. But what I have noticed is a very unwelcome visitor, which is the Asparagus Beetle, which has been having a good old munch and leaving quite a few of the spears looking like this. Can you see it on there? Yeah. I did spray the soil with neem oil to try and get rid of any overwintering beetle, but clearly the temptation is just too much. And here's our arch, which is almost completed. It's completed structurally, but as far as painting, you can see the paint can there and the little stool. I've been finishing off this afternoon because I nearly managed to do it out of one tin, but I had to dig deep and go and buy another tin just to finish off some bits and pieces. But if I show you what we've got there, and this will tie in with another new bit I'm going to show you, because we have filled these beds with all sorts of stuff, but mainly from a raised bed we have behind the shed, which I'll show you a bit more about that in a minute. But at the moment in here we have got lettuce, of course, they're everywhere. I've got a squash there, I think that's a patty pan. I've got a couple of tomatoes, and then, and this is what's going to grow up the arch, I have got butternut squash there and in that corner. So a really nice thing for me to do now is just decide what flowers and bits of edging I'm going to have going around the outside. I've already got some red tagetes in from Danny over at the Grapevine allotment. I don't know if you can see those, but it might not be such an issue on the other side if I take you over, because we couldn't work out what these things were. Mike thought I'd sown them. I thought he'd sown them. In there somewhere I've got a matching pair of tomatoes as on the other side, and a squash and some lettuce. But look at these sunflowers! How crazy are they? I mean, crazy because we didn't actually plant any or sow any there, but what we realised was in the base of this box we topped it up with a lot of the chicken bedding. And what do the chickens eat every now and then? Sunflower seeds. So they've recycled them rather well, and we've got basically what would be a field full of sunflowers. So I don't know, give me an idea. Obviously I can't leave them in here because, well, it would just be ridiculous and too many. But what would you do with these? Would you just weed them? I mean, we're talking about plants for free. Would you give them to a local school? Would you sell them to make a little bit of money for Ukraine? What would you do? Let me know. I'm tempted to just pull them up, but it seems like such a waste. Look how healthy they are. I tell you what, they're far healthier than the ones I've actually spent months and months nurturing in my kitchen. Anyway, what a treat, eh? Strawberries are looking really well now. We've mulched them with straw. The next thing we need to do is actually get the nets on. Can you see they go all the way along the front of the second half of the allotment, because they have got plenty of, oh look at these, here we go, they have got plenty of fruit on, but as we know, as soon as they start to colour up, the birds are going to think, woo, party time. So yeah, we'll get the nets on them in the next couple of days. And the peas, look how nice they look. They are the ones that Neil passed on to me, Neil Wilson, who sowed them by the phase of the moon. And just look how healthy they look compared to the ones that Mike sowed direct. Sorry, strawberries, I'm going over. Which, they look okay, but if we look in here, you can maybe see that some of these haven't quite survived the pigeons. I can hear a pigeon now, can you? It's like he's mocking me. What do you think he might be saying? But yeah, everything is just getting got by pigeons. You know, and it's, I did a short video last week with which featured just like at the end, I was happily planting my giant mange two, and they looked really, really healthy. And look, this is a week later and they've got mesh round. What is going on? I mean, do you think that is pigeons? Do you think it's mice? Do you think it's slugs? We've actually been using some of those organic slug pellets, which I would rather not use, but I thought they'd be safe. But no, they've been shredded. I'm keeping them in. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because that's the sort of gardener I am. There's lots of crossing fingers and toes. Yeah, so something might come of them, but goodness me, this is what I mean. If you don't cover it, well, this is covered. But you really have to be on your mettle to outwit the critters. Sweet corn went in last week. Only, oh, how many plants? I think there's about 14 plants there, but that'll do. I've got them in 2 rows rather than a block, just because that's the space I had. And then on the opposite side, I've got some of the glass gem sweet corn right next to what's left now of the chard. Look at that. I mean, it's just such a beautiful plant. Chickens are loving it. But yeah, that's due to come up. But let me show you these tunnels in front. Okay, in here we've got we've got red cabbage and red Brussels sprouts in that one, and then in this one we have got, let me just pull this up. Oh, it's very well pinned down. Somebody did a good job there, Jane. We have got our Cavalo Nero, which, as you know, or you might not know, is one of our favourite plants to grow, because we love the taste of it, but it freezes and everything. There's had a slug on that. Oh, little wretch. Okay, actually, that's not too bad. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I do just want to show you, I did say I would, and I'm going to. This is one of the tunnels from Gardening Naturally. And we've just found it really, really good. I know it looks the same height as that tunnel, but these, what do you call them? These hoops here are so strong and they're high. And we've got, what we haven't got on there, which are these hoop clips that come with the tunnel system, and it just means that you can clip the net on. So whereas I don't know if you can see that one's starting to sag a bit in the middle, it's okay, it's fine for now, but over time they do start to dip in the middle unless you've got your hoops really close together. But these keep the mesh across really, really tight. And yeah, we're dead pleased with them because again, this mesh comes with you can choose what sort of mesh you want, whether you want bird mesh or insect mesh or butterfly mesh, whichever one you want. But we find this Enviromesh, is it Enviromesh? It's insect mesh. We find this is just brilliant for looking after your crops. So I would recommend them. I know there'll be some people take umbrage with me recommending them. I have talked about Gardening Naturally before, but they are such a good company to work alongside. Really friendly, really helpful. They'll give you advice on what they think you need. And the best thing is, let me pop that in there. They've got 10% off at the moment, and I'll put the discount code at the end of the video. Yay! The beans have now gone in against the bean canes. I've sown them direct. I don't know. What am I doing? I've got no backups as yet. And in fact, I ran out of beans. So I thought I had a great big jar of Boulotti beans at home. And if you've followed the channel before, you'll know that they're my favourite bean. Anyway, I can't find them for the life of me. We've obviously eaten them. So I've left half a front row for the Boulotti beans. But other than that, we've got Scarlet Emperor, just as a standard runner, Boulotti, hopefully, Madeira Maroon, and the Gigantus. So this side really is all your runner beans, or what we will use as beans. And on this side we have got Golden Gate. I'm going to have to look at the tags here. Golden Gate along here. We've got Cobra, and we've got, let's just have a little look, Blauhild, there's a name, that sounds like a tough old bean. So yeah, obviously I'm absolutely risking everything by not doing any backups. I must do some, but as I say, it's just been so busy. So yeah, so they're in, and I don't know if you can pick up, you might remember that we put, or I sowed a line of parsnips between these bean rows during a waxing moon, which is the wrong time to plant them. And not only was it the wrong time to plant them, they just didn't come up at all. Okay, so not even, I couldn't even blame the moon. I think there must have just been old seed. So I've started again, so as not to get mixed up, I've left that row altogether. It's had a good weed, so anything that was in there has now come out. And I've now planted them on this side, and I've planted them on a waning moon. So that is when they should have been planted, okay, because they go down, so it's the moon going, you know what I mean. So yeah, so my parsnip experiment continues, but it's just been a little bit delayed. Okay, looking at that side of the tunnel, you might think, Jane, you haven't done a bad job there. You've got your tomatoes in. What's the problem? But then, if I pan over to this side of the tunnel, you know what I said about having too much lettuce? Can you have too much lettuce? Yes, you can. This is how much lettuce we've got. So, oh yeah, and some potatoes in there as well. But this is the side where the rest of my tomatoes, but also my melons are going to go for the Transatlantic Melon Challenge. So the next day or two, come rain or snow, and it could be either at this time of year, I'm going to have to get in here and clear this out because clearly there's too much stuff going on. Okay, we're in the last bed now, which I promise I'll be quick. Undercover again. the little Glastonbury village for vegetables. We've got spinach here at the front. We've got some, I think they're early nut carrots, and we've got some long red Florence onions, which are looking very sad for themselves at the moment, but we're sure they'll pick up. If we move slightly over, we can see that we have got several rows of mixed beet with Mike's incredible pigeon defence system going on. Looking a little bit raggy now. Not quite. Yeah, look, he's trying to demonstrate there. It's not working, is it? We're not impressed, Mike. It's all fallen off. But I tell you what, oh look, Rocky's having a go as well. Look, honestly, again, I say it all the time, don't I? Never film with animals on Mike. Yeah, he's just trod on the spinach. That's probably why it's not doing very well. Yeah, mixed beet, and the pigeons so far have stayed off that. And then just behind them, we have got shallots and carrots interplanted. So a little bit of companion planting there, and actually the carrots, last time I looked, they weren't doing so well, but they've really come on recently, so they're doing okay. And then at the very top, we've got our potatoes. We've got Charlotte and, oh, can't remember what the main crop is. Maris Piper. I think it's Maris Piper. I'll probably come back and change it. But yeah, again, doing very well. Considering we weren't going to grow potatoes this year, we've got quite a few, and that's aside from the ones Mike's put into pots, which I'll get him to show you in just a moment. But yeah, doing well. So Mike's got his own little corner. He's been allowed, where I said we've taken the soil out of a bed from behind the shed to fill up the new beds, this is where it was, but Mike has made fantastic use of it. Tell us what you've done, Mike.
Well, I've created a damp little corner, and in my damp little corner I've got some pak choi that tends to run to seed very quickly when under pressure from overheated conditions and slugs and so on. So I've got some pak choi here.
Yeah.
I've got some beautiful little labels, which I know I'm guilty of not doing sometimes.
Yes, and you, my best labels. Yeah, go on. Yeah, what else have you got?
A number of pak choi, and then we've got some, well, it's labelled as coriander, but it actually, I think, is probably flat leaf parsley. We're going to find out soon. Okay. And then I've got some fenugreek, which was given to us by a neighbour. Never grown it before, no idea what to do with it, but it seemed like a good little spot to sow that as well. And then surrounding Mike's damp corner, we've got some main crop potatoes, which we sowed, or rather we planted halfway down in big buckets, just to try and make the use of the space, because we didn't want to use all our space on potatoes. So these are main crops. They're called Pentland something.
Pentland something? Pentland Peter.
Pentland Squire, Javelin, or
any of the other Pentlands.
Pentland Pete. But they're a main crop potato, which are in great big buckets.
And so it just goes to show, doesn't it? We weren't using this spot for anything. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Now we are.
That's where we are at this time of year, and I love it. I love May. It's like you've got over the first hurdle of actually sowing your seeds and, you know, transplanting them and actually seeing things growing from that tiny little capsule. But now it's on to the next stage, the next stage of the battle, which includes for us in our part of the world, blooming pigeons, blooming slugs, and I'm not even going to say what I think about the mice, but I'm pretty sure they've got a hand in it as well. So sorry, Rocky's just decided to go and sniff the chickens. I don't think they're too keen. Rocky, leave them alone. Leave them alone. So yeah, so it's all go. And I was thinking to myself, if you didn't have these things, you'd be nice. If you didn't have these things sent to you, like pigeons and etc., would it be too easy? Would there be such a thing as a garden that was too... Don't sniff her bottom, it's rude. Go on, off you go. Good boy. I tell Mike the same thing all the time. I've lost my thread now. Yeah, is it the challenge that keeps us going? Because I know from different groups that I'm involved in and videos and all sorts of stuff, one of the main contentions and the main discussions that goes on over the next month or two will be how to stop your crops from getting devoured by something other than you know. And I know we get off fairly lightly where we are, and we don't have deer and we don't have rabbits. Well, we do, but they don't come into the garden, you know. And you know, that's okay. But yeah, what do you think? Answer in the comments below. Would you prefer to have no challenges? It's almost a stupid question, isn't it? Or do you think, you know, it keeps you on your toes a bit? You have to be a bit inventive. You have to try and figure things out, what works best. I'm saying all this now, you know, I'll come back tomorrow and all the lettuce will have been eaten, and I'll very, very definitely wish that we lived in a perfect gardening world. But yeah, it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? So that's it. Yeah, we've done I'm so thrilled. I'm really excited about that arch. At first I was a little bit worried about it, but that's given us some extra room. Mike's little damp corner, that's going to be interesting, you know, because he's always wanted to grow watercress. So that could be something that develops into. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, things are just starting to come. And I keep thinking, I don't know about you, I keep thinking that we're almost there. And then as I'm sitting here now, I'm looking at the polytunnel, and I've shown you inside there. That's going to be, you know, a job in itself to get one side cleared. I've got to plant up the melons, I've got to plant up the dahlias, I've got to plant up the rest of the tomatoes, and then it's just a case of looking after things and checking that they grow and doing any successional growing that you're going to do, you know. And yeah, it's really nice, and it's sort of the main busy period for me. I think in the next week will be over, and then it's a question of maintenance, you know. So yeah, get excited though. I love May. I love that, even though this very end of May, and by the time you see this it might be June. But yeah, dead pleased. I really feel, yeah, positive this year, which is good. Do let me know how you're getting on. Do let me know if you love this time of year or not, what you're having to put up with in your garden, what you're excited about. All these things are so lovely to just, not just for me to read, but for other viewers to read as well in the comments below. So please do that. Please subscribe if you haven't done it already. There's something down here somewhere which says Jane's Allotment on it, or you can press the subscribe button under the video. It doesn't cost you anything. Press the little bell as well, and then you will get a notification each time a video goes live. Come along and say hello on the Facebook group. Come along and say hello on Instagram. Email if you want to. The email address is there. And oh, the sun's coming out again now. It must be about 7:30 at night now. And I'm sitting here with a chicken on my knee without a jumper on. Doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, let me know how you're getting on. Take care, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.